Yo, what up? It's your boy, Pi Aquinas, Trentitional Street Catholic of the Cross. Is making this video because I had an announcement. Because as promised, I'm gonna begin working tomorrow on my upcoming album, Crucified, double length, 28 tracks, and and I just want to explain what the sound's gonna be like. Of course, there's going to be some signatures because, like I said before, even now that I got a new name and doing everything from scratch, I still want to do something unique. But let's just say, this I'm going to have my signature slow tempo with my slow flow on this one, sort of like the last one. But there were three albums, of course, that are going to inspire the sound. Let's just say like three of them, like NWA's Straight Outta Compton, with Dr. Dre's early sound, after World Class Wrecking Crew, after all the dance sound of the early West Coast, but when he started like making sounds, say on Easy Does It and Straight Outta Compton, like I'm gonna have you know like loops of funky guitar sounds, funky guitar loops everything. And then of course the drum part, I wanna I'm gonna have drums similar to like the ones you sound on Wu-Tang Clan's like 36 chambers. And then the bass line were like Spice One, America's Nightmare, which Ant Banks had a lot to do with that album. So let's just say when it comes to the instrumental sound, it's gonna be a Straight Outta Compton meets Enter the Wu Tang 36 Chambers, and meets America's Nightmare meets Pi Aquinas. And and if you think I'm done, I'm not, because I'm actually gonna have real Gregorian background and everything, because as my good friend Peter, whom I call Peter the Apostle, my closest road dog, he actually recorded a couple of loops singing Kyrie eleison and Ave Maria. His voice is just awesome. He kind of sold himself short because he wasn't sure if I wanted to. He was okay with it, but he wasn't sure if I'd like it. But he's off the hook. So, because of course, on my last album, there were like choirs and everything. They were cool, but let's just say, because I've always wanted to have like Gregorian loops, and I kind of would try to figure out a way to make it sound at least a little like traditional Gregorian. But let's just say the element of the choirs and everything, I found I wasn't 100% satisfied, so there's gonna be the loops of those, like say every like 10 seconds you would hear his voice, and I'm gonna make some of my own too. So I'm gonna have some singing like certain ones, certain like parts of Gregorian hymns in Latin. So so let's just say it'll be a little more authentic when it comes to that. So, but all those other elements, and then lyric wise, of course, it's going to talk about me embracing all my crosses and offering up, and how how I value them and unite, even though, because of course, I mentioned crosses like my brain and lung conditions and all that, and then and then like how being marginalized by society due to all those things, but I am going to talk about how it gets me closer to Christ and actually embracing my suffering and offering it up, and then that sort of goes with the title Crucified, and then so that's just how I want to put it. And of course, and I'm going to put like how I actually value certain things, how I value my simple life, value my poverty, and all that, how I wouldn't give it up for the world or anything. Yeah, of course, I mentioned a lot about that on my last, but this one's going to go even deeper. And of course, and of course, how I feel and everything and stuff like that. But I'm just, yeah, it's mostly based on my own personal relationship with Jesus Christ. and how I can offer things up, and then I'm really trying to grow in that part of my faith, and then yeah, so that's just pretty much how it's gonna be. So like I said, it's gonna be 28 tracks, double length, and that's what this announcement's gonna be about. And the mixtape too, I got 20 tracks done, which means I have 10 more because that's going to be 30 tracks. 900 Benedictine Slugs Volume 2, the reload. So it's still, what now that I'm going to be working on a studio album, I'm not going to have as much time to work on the mixtape, but that's what I'm reserving Fridays and Saturdays for working on my mixtape. So it's going to take me about a month to do like uh, 10 more tracks on that, which likely on schedule, God willing. I cautiously say that the mixtape will likely be out in June. So that's what that's what, because the mixtape is only a side project. So studio albums are number one priority once I start them. But I just wanted to take a break, after like putting all the work on the last album, just to, work on side projects and have more time to chill out and prepare, but tomorrow, that's when and it could be possible, I might decide, depending on what I get done tomorrow, I might decide to put out a track, to, just to give y'all just a taste, a hint of what the album's going to be like. But this one, of course, is going to take longer to finish because this is 28 instead of 21. But that's what I'm going to do. And I just want to say God bless y'all. Thank y'all for y'all support. And, any fans support and everything, I always appreciate, and the well wishes, it always means more to me. And I wish all y'all very well too. Okay, peace of Christ be with all you. In Patris, Spiritus Spiritus Sanctus. Amen.